What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Tom Aspinall willing to vacate heavyweight belt for friend? Many people have predicted that Tom Aspinall will remain the UFC's heavyweight champion for quite some time. But recently, Tom Aspinall reported there's a chance he could vacate the title in the not-too-distant future. And before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video to help support the channel. Since Aspinall has showcased ridiculous speed for a heavyweight, devastating power, and dangerous submissions, he would be the betting line favorite to defeat almost anyone on the planet. Further, Aspinall is only 32, so it seems reasonable to predict that he could reign as a champ for a while. But recently, Aspinall was a guest on a Shits & Gigs podcast. Aspinall was asked if he'd be willing to fight his friend or if he would vacate the belt. Tom proceeded to note that he could be in that situation soon on account of his buddy Ante D'Elia joining the UFC and defeating Marcin Tybura in his Octagon debut.
My friend and training partner just got to the UFC. He just got his first
I saw
win, and now he's in the top 10, which is like, to get your first win into, like, he just beat a guy in the top 10.
Oh, sick.
Oh, nice.
So like he's potentially like 2 or 3 wins away from like a title shot. So the thing is, if I'd never won a title, I'd never touched gold before, we would have to fight because that's my dream.
Yeah.
But now I've done it, I would be like, I'll vacate it and he can have his time. I wouldn't fight him, no chance. No chance. So I've got guys who I train with, of course, and I've trained with them for years and stuff, and I've got other guys who are my like genuine friends.
Yeah.
And he's one of like my genuine friends. I would never. There's some stuff to me that's like more important than like money and titles. And like I say, I've won the title. I've done that. And I've got a few more in me before he's going to be up there anyway.
Now, of course, a few things do have to fall into place before Aspinall versus D'Elia even becomes a possibility. As Tom noted, both men have to win several more fights. D'Elia is currently ranked number 9, and so he'll need to get through some pretty terrifying fighters before a title shot is even tabled. But it's interesting to hear this from Tom Aspinall, given he's still quite young for a heavyweight. During the podcast, Aspinall also conceded he doesn't think he could have defeated a prime Daniel Cormier. Yeah, you know, DC, Daniel Cormier, peak DC, has the worst style for me ever. I've said this to his face as well. He's a short guy who just keeps walking forward, changing levels in between grappling and punches. He can knock you out, take you down, and he's got cardio for days. For my style, he's a nightmare. He was a beast. Peak DC was unreal. Aspinall continues to prepare for his first fight as the undisputed heavyweight champ, as he'll battle Ciryl Gane at UFC 321 October 25th. Recently, the Champs Camp released the following footage of Aspinall battering a punching bag. Kamaru Usman believes that there's still a world where he can become double champion in both middleweight and welterweight, and then retire off into the sunset. Here's what Kamaru had to say.
As part of my career, it's the dream scenario is next fight, win the welterweight title.
Yeah.
Vacate, win the middleweight title.
Yeah.
Retire.
Yeah.
Yeah, just boom, boom, 1, 2, and then be done.
And sail into the
Because you can't top that. It's like, what else do I want after that?
Beneil Dariush picking JDM to beat Islam Makhachev at UFC 322. Jack Della Maddalena is an underdog heading into his first title fight as the UFC's welterweight champ. But as the card nears, it does seem like more people are starting to question if Islam Makhachev will win the title. Case in point, Beneil Dariush recently revealed he's changed his mind, and he's picking JDM to hear and still at UFC 322. JDM is booked to face Makhachev in the headliner of the November 15th event going down at Madison Square Garden. Although Makhachev is moving up from lightweight for the very first time, he's the betting line's favorite to win the fight. After all, he's one of the greatest fighters of this generation. Recently, Dariush spoke with Helen Yee. When asked if he's still picking Islam to add another belt to his trophy case, the lightweight contender revealed he's not so sure. I'm leaning now towards JDM. I feel like the size will make the difference. Cardio-wise, JDM has great cardio. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. This is all feel. This is one of the few fights where I can't really give you a clear answer. So I just think JDM will win it. This is all feel. This is one of the few fights where I can't really give you a clear answer. So I just feel like JDM. Many people believed Bilal Muhammad's wrestling and top game would rule the day against JDM, and that certainly was not the case. And speaking of Islam's size, some new footage has been shared out, which does appear to show that Makhachev has indeed bulked up. And another clip was released of him on the beach, and you can definitely see a growth in his size.
عقا تحت عقا down on the floor. ايوه لا تميت ساند. طلعت روحت روح خلاص. جيم اوفر الحين. سليب. رقد.
UFC updates. Okay, now let's take a look at some UFC and fight updates. Dustin Poirier has only been retired for a few months, but due to comments the star continues to make via social media, talk about him returning to action isn't going away. Poirier officially hung up the gloves this past July, after he lost via unanimous decision to the current BMF king, Max Holloway. The event was largely built around Poirier, as he signaled before the event that this was going to be his last dance. The card was held in Poirier's home state of Louisiana to honor him. Well, more recently, DP's reported that he'd be willing to come back for a boxing match with Nate Diaz under the Zuffa boxing banner. While Diaz has scoffed at the proposal, Poirier continues to signal that he misses fighting. Case in point, recently, Poirier had these exchanges with fans via social media. "We miss you. Trust me, I miss it too. How much do you miss it? Every day, the moment my eyes open, I've done it for 2 decades, dedicated my life to it. A part of me has died." Now, of course, this doesn't mean that DP is going to come back to fight in the UFC, but it certainly sounds like it could be a possibility. 2025 is going to come and go without Shavkat Rakhmonov fighting, but it looks like we could see the absurdly dangerous welterweight back in action somewhat soon. Rakhmonov hasn't fought now since December 2024, when he recorded a decision win over Ian Gary. The undefeated fighter was expected to fight then champion Belal Muhammad in May, but he was sidelined due to a knee injury. More recently, the following footage of Rakhmonov training was shared out. This is good to see, after recent rumors that Shavkat had incurred another knee injury, which his manager denied. And it looks like Guram Kutateladze has found a new employer, as it's being reported by Vestnik MMA, he signed with ACA MMA. The Georgian lightweight excited the UFC earlier this year after he lost via decision to Caio Fernandez. Kutateladze went 2-3 in his initial run with the UFC. Although Kutateladze had a losing record in the UFC, it's worth noting he defeated Mateusz Gamrot by a split decision in 2020. Further, one of his losses came by a split decision to Damir Ismagulov. He's also teammates with Ilia Topuria, so it's not surprising to hear he's already signed with another promotion. Paddy Pimblett reacts to Ronda Rousey comments. Paddy Pimblett has become one of the biggest names in the UFC, all due to his abilities in and out of the cage, and you can count Ronda Rousey as one of his fans. Even before Pimblett signed with the UFC, he generated considerable hype in the UK, due to his outspoken personality, his pre-fight dancing, and yeah, his hairdo. The fact he has a finishing fighting style didn't hurt either. Well, fast forward to today, and Pimblett has established himself as one of the UFC's top rising commodities. Case in point, he could get the call to face Ilia Topuria in the star's first fight as the lightweight champion. Rousey recently appeared at a Comic-Con in New York, and not surprisingly, MMA came up. While talking about what it takes for fighters to break through and become mainstream stars, the former UFC champ brought up Pimblett.
That's what I think really matters, that you can make people know who you are that don't watch fighting. And that is how you command the being an entertainer aspect. And I think a lot of the fighters today don't realize that they're also entertainers. And the one person I think that does really realize that is Paddy Pimblett. And so I really appreciate it.
It wasn't long before Rousey's comments got back to Pimblett, who responded with this via social media. "Thank you very much, Ronda Rousey. Means a lot coming from a UFC legend." While Pimblett may not be a household name just yet in North America, if he continues to get booked for high-profile bouts, that very well could change. Luke Rockhold says he went from hating Alex Pereira to saying he's the GOAT. It wasn't that long ago when Luke Rockhold let it be known that he wasn't sold on Alex Pereira being a legitimate world beater in MMA. But as Pereira begins his second reign as the UFC's light heavyweight king, Rockhold is reporting he's changed his tune. At UFC 320 earlier this month, Pereira avenged his decision loss to Magomed Ankalaev in jaw-dropping fashion by quickly putting him away with strikes. More recently, TMZ caught up with Rockhold on the street. When asked for his thoughts on UFC 320, the former middleweight champ had this to say about Pereira. "I used to hate on Alex Pereira, but he's a gangster. It's all about confidence. It's all about balls. He has it. He has it. I'm not gonna lie. I can't hate on the anymore. He's one of the GOATs. Pereira carries the same mindset every time. He doesn't have a ground game, but the got balls. No more hate. Alex, God bless. You're a gangster. He's one of the best champs of all time. Honestly, it's impressive." Chances are, Rockhold isn't the only person who originally scoffed at the idea of Pereira making UFC history, who have since done a 180. If you need a refresher on some of the things Rockhold had to say about Pereira before, here's a sample. Back in 2022, after Pereira bombed out Sean Strickland, Rockhold had this to say about the possibility of the UFC tapping the feared striker to fight Israel Adesanya. Yeah, it's an intriguing story. Alex Pereira has beat Izzy twice, and so you're looking at any level of intrigue, and so they're looking for someone that they can throw in the mix, even though Alex Pereira would get mauled by 20 guys in the UFC would probably maul him. But yeah, it's a compelling story if you get him past a brawler like Sean Strickland, so they did it, and it's up and going. So it's my job to go deter that. To be fair, even after Pereira defeated Adesanya for a third time and hoisted UFC gold, there were still plenty of people who believed he had yet to be fully tested in MMA. Dana White makes huge announcement. Earlier today, the UFC teased fans on social media by posting Dana White will be live on Instagram later today to make an announcement. After the tweet, Dana White later went live and announced this.
Now let's go to UFC 323 from T-Mobile Arena on December 6th. The main event, the number 3 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, Merab, makes the quick turnaround to face the number 2 ranked Peter Yan. On the Monday after Merab's title defense at UFC 320, he came into the offices here and told us how important it was for him to break the record for the most title defenses in a year. Merab's on a 14-fight win streak and is looking to make an unprecedented 4th title defense in under a year. Merab already holds UFC records for the most takedowns ever, but a win would move him into 2nd place for longest win streak ever. He's got the most bantamweight wins, most bantamweight title wins. This kid is on fire. And obviously, Peter Yan is an absolute savage, former champion, and this is a very fun fight. And you got to respect the hell out of Merab for wanting to break this title. I love this. I love stuff like this. In the co-main event, Pantoja defends his flyweight belt against the number 1 contender, Josh Van. Pantoja's on an 8-fight win streak. He has the most finishes and wins ever in the flyweight division. And number one ranked Josh Van is off a fight of the year contender against Brandon Royval. He seemed to explode out of nowhere and is already looking for his 5th win in under a year to earn that title fight. He already holds the flyweight record for most strikes landed per minute and striking differential. Simply put, Josh Van is all action all the time. So that's another fun fight. Also on that card, Jan Blachowicz will take on Bogdan Guzgov, and a bad fight between former 2-division champ Henry Cejudo and Peyton Talbot. So there you have it.
We have breaking news right now because Dana White just went on Instagram. They're telling me in my ear, and he just announced that you are the main event of. Let's dance, my friend. Let's dance. Yeah. How do we do it?
He said he will try his best, and he told me the Peter Yan no have visa, and
wow,
that's what they told me.
So you really didn't know?
I don't.